And we've still got a little work to do.
We do have a little work to do. I'm going to stop my video so I can share my screen, I think, Dr. K.
Okay.
So, uh, thanks for listening through the Q&A, everyone. I hope it was interesting and you got something out of that. I wanted to go through the hardening part of the final project, but maybe just stepping back a little bit. The final project is going to have 3 parts. Is that right, Dr. K?
That's right.
Okay, so the website, the homepage has been updated for this week. We were a little slow this week, uh, but what we're doing, thank you, Dr. K. What we're doing is we're going to start the final project this week. We're going to start with part 1 hardening, and that's what I'm going to walk through now. But part 2 will be to zip up your project on December 7th, or by December 7th, which is when all 3 parts are due. And you'll produce a zip file and upload that to Canvas. And I'll be doing a code review for 10 points, I think. Actually, I won't speak to the points because that's changed a little bit.
So currently the hardening is 10 points. We may tweak this, okay? But currently the hardening is 10 points. The code review is 10 points. I'm sorry, the hardening here is 10 points. The code review is 10 points. And then the cleanup, which is, mostly style, but some past functionality, that's 20 points. That's kind of an overall review.
Great. Thanks, Dr. K. So what we're going to do is start this week with the Q&A, with the walkthrough being about hardening a website. Then you'll have Thanksgiving break, and then the week after that to continue working on finalizing your project 11, which is the final project. And everything is due on December 7th. So with that, I'll share my screen, and I will share the right screen, hopefully. Can people see the screen, Dr. K?
Yep.
Okay, so what I have here is I have on the right-hand side, I have my Dr. A Bookstore final walkthrough project. So the suffix that we're going to use is final for this last project. And what I've got it in is a state that it reached at the end of project 11. So I'm able to add some things to the cart, proceed to checkout. Oh no, I have to type in all those things. I didn't want to have to do that. I'll just go through it because I want to show the confirmation page. Oh boy, please work, That's well, that is different than what I expected. Okay, well, that doesn't look at all what I thought it would look like, so I don't quite know what's going on, but I don't think it'll matter for hardening. But what I wanted to do was start by just going through basically showing you issues with the website, how it's weak and how we can make it a little bit more resilient. And there's slides available for this this week's module as well now. But I just want to go through and show what goes wrong. So the first thing to notice is I'm on localhost 8080. So a lot of these deficiencies won't show up because the development server and setup is really nice and takes care of these sort of things for you. But if you deploy to localhost 8080 or you deploy to the CS5244 website, you'll be able to see some of these deficiencies. So the first one is let's go to the card page, something that's not home. So the first thing we'll notice is we've got to handle empty states where the cart or the order details might be missing. We've got to expect that and have some sort of treatment for that. So that's why we have this message here. But more than that, let's start off by considering page reloading. So let's reload this page, and you'll see that we get an ugly Tomcat message saying 404 not found. And this is because the server, the Tomcat server, which is what we're talking to, has no idea what /cart means. The only thing that knows what /cart is the view router. And the view router is in JavaScript. But we're sending a request to the server, and the server's sending us a page back. It's not sending us back the JavaScript. So this is something that a number of you have seen on Piazza, and the solution is in Piazza 118, but I'm going to show that now. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to say to the server, look, we know, just admit that you don't know what /cart is, but instead of sending back a page by yourself, send back a page with JavaScript on it. The JavaScript will load, and it will see that we're trying to go to /cart, and it will do it for us. So this is actually going to be in the web.xml. So you're in the server project source main web app webinf. And what we have to do is add a little snippet to the bottom of your web.xml that basically says, you know what, if you see a page that you don't know, so basically, if you're going to serve an error page and it's the 404 error page because you don't know about something, just send back the home page, send back whatever you serve from index.html. What that effectively does is it sends back the home page, and the home page has JavaScript that loads, and then the JavaScript will read the cart from the address bar and work out what to do, and we'll go to the cart page. So let's restart Tomcat. And we can restart Tomcat, and we'll go to the cart page, and we'll hit reload, and we go back to the cart page. And that's because we're actually serving the home page and running JavaScript to work that out. So if I do that again, we're actually getting a 404 back from our request to /cart. But you can see that the response payload is actually the HTML, and you can see that we're actually loading JavaScript, and the JavaScript looks at cart, and we go to the cart page. So that was a bug on every page other than the home page. So I just demonstrated that with cart, but you've just hardened all your web pages other than the home page, which obviously worked already. All right, that's problem number one. Problem number two, issue number two, is what we've done is we've asked you to, oh, what did that break? Well, that's interesting. Let's go to the home page without a slash, and so I'm going to hit it without a slash, and then it changes to a slash automatically. But then in our instructions for hardening, we want index.html to work, and that doesn't work. And we want home to work, and that doesn't work. And that's a bit surprising to me. I didn't expect that, actually. So I'm hoping my fix works, Dr. K.
Okay.
But you know, these are the requirements that we have. So let's see how we can go about doing that. So the reason it doesn't work is maybe we don't know about these as routes. So let's have a look at what our router.js says.
But slash worked, right?
Slash worked.
Okay.
And something without a slash worked. So I think I understand what's going on now. So I'm having a look here. What we've got is when you type in things to your address bar, we match against the paths in the router. and there's no path for home. There's no path for slash home. There's no path for slash index.html. So they don't work, but slash does work because it matches this. And I think nothing works, probably because it matches slash by default. So how are we going to change this to basically add a couple of other names for slash that we are going to support? So if you have a look at the view router documentation, there's a concept called an alias, and you can have a list of aliases for your path. So what if we just said, look, let's treat slash home and slash index.html as aliases and put a comma there. Then slash home and slash index.html will all match this path. So let's test it. Let's go to slash home. It doesn't work. Oh, and that's a good thing that it doesn't work. That demonstrates something that we must remember. I'm going to localhost 8080. And so if I make changes, I can't magically reload anymore and test against this production type server. What I need to do is I need to republish, do an npm run build, remove things from the server source main web app folder and copy them in. And I've been doing this a bit, so I've got a shell script to do all that that I wrote. So I'm just going to build for production, npm run build. I'm going to delete everything and copy things over. So if we try to hit home now, it still doesn't work. Hard reload. Oh, I need to restart Tomcat as well. So this is you need to republish and restart Tomcat and then try things out. So it's a bit slow.
Richard wants to know if we want them to do index.htm as well.
You can. We probably won't test it. It's not part of the requirements, but you might want to do that. HTM's a Windows thing, so sure, why not? You can put as many aliases in as you want, actually, as long as they don't clash with other paths. So let's try to go to slash home now, and it works. And let's try to go to slash index.html, and it works. Great. So that's the homepage links. So that's just an extra view router trick. One thing that we're going to be testing, and I hope this loads, is we're going to be testing maybe going to the cart page and clicking the back button, maybe going to a different category and make sure you come back to the same category, or if you continue shopping, you'll come back to the same category. But if we keep going and we check out, we'll be going back from all of our pages. So if you finish checking out, which I won't bother slowing down to enter in all this data, but if you get to the confirmation page and you click back, what's happened is the cart has gone away. And so your checkout page, your cart has been cleared. So your checkout page needs to understand what to do if your cart is cleared. And it'll show a message with a continue shopping button. And then you click back again and you go to your cart page. So there's a diagram of all the pages in the slides, and we'll be testing basically off that. But if I clear my cart, and then I go straight to slash checkout, I need to be able to handle that sort of thing too. And this is a kind of an older version of my website that doesn't look very nice, or some styles are missing. So that's why the buttons are gray. I don't like that, but I'm going to leave it for now. Also, if you go to slash confirmation again, you'll notice that I don't have any order details. I haven't placed an order since I restarted Tomcat. And right now it's not showing anything. Well, we'll want you to show something here as well. And that's in the slides as well.
Dr. A, I have a question I actually don't know the answer to, but if you're on the checkout page, So if you have put something in your cart and go to the checkout page, like
Oh, sure.
do it legitimately, just whatever. Yeah, add something to the cart. You go to the checkout, go to the cart page, and then check out. So if I put something in one of those fields, like name, well, put a legitimate name in there, Fred or whatever, Dr. K. Well, yeah,
Dr. K,
Dr. K.
Dr. K wasn't going to work. Yep.
Right. And then I hit reload. What should happen here on this
Well,
page?
I
That's
think
fine. If it clears the
I
fields, that's
think it
fine.
clears all the fields if you hit refresh.
Okay, that's
That's
fine.
okay.
Yep.
And it defaults the expiry month and year. That's okay too.
Yeah, that's fine.
If you didn't want to clear them, if you wanted to remember them, you'd probably have to use some sort of session storage or local storage to do that.
Okay, well, let's just make it so the requirement is
Yeah.
it should clear the fields
It should clear the fields.
when you
That's what will
release.
happen naturally. So that's a good point, Dr. K. Good question. The best questions are the ones you don't know the answer to. Okay. So, all right. So now let's say we can handle refreshing every page. We can handle back buttons. I've talked a little bit about handling pages without a cart or without your order details. What happens if we start messing with the address bar a little bit? What happens if and I made a better example in the slides, but what if I go to the page /foo? Oh, that's interesting. I wonder if maybe Dr. K or anyone can explain why this is empty. Why am I getting an empty page? It's not quite empty, is it? I've got a header and a footer, but
Well, you got
what
your header, so it's
yeah,
not totally empty. So it's looking for a foo component. There's no route for foo, right?
there's no route for foo. That's a problem. Um,
And it's just
and
saying.
so it'll try and match all these routes, and it's not going to do anything.
And
Um,
so, like, I know that things are not rendered when it does not understand something. So maybe it just understands the header, understands the footer, and doesn't understand what's in between. I,
Yeah, that's exactly right, Dr. K, but I want to
okay.
show how that works. App.view is where it's at. So have a look at this. Every page in our application has a header, a router view, and a footer. Now, the router view usually takes what's in the address bar and picks a component to render from the views folder. But here, there is no component matching /foo. So it doesn't match anything. So it just doesn't put anything onto the page. It's completely silent. So that's why we just get a header and a footer. And what we want to do is we want to do better than that. That's not very cool. Most websites, if you make a mistake or they've got a stale link, they'll actually tell you, oh, there's no page here. Please go to the home page. So that's what we want. That's the requirements is we want a little message and we want a button to go back to the home page. So let's code this. So what we want to do is go to our view, and I'm going to make a new view.js component. I guess is there one there? Why don't I see a view? Oh, too bad. I'll just make a file and I'll call it, I'm going to call it not found.view with a small o. And what we will do is I'm going to cheat and paste some things in the interest of time. So let me say I'm going to have just a div. Template's going to say, we're sorry, the page you requested couldn't be found. And please go to the home route. And then what have I got here? I'm just going to add some style so that it looks nice. And I've got a bit of a bug here. The name should be not found. So we've got a script and a tag. I'm just going to put some padding and margins around the text and the button so that it's not right up against the headers. And we still, so let's see. just adding that component won't solve the problem. So I'm not going to publish yet. I'm not going to restart Tomcat. It won't solve the problem because we haven't actually told our router to use this component yet. So if we go back to our router.js, what we want to do is we want a way of saying, hey, try to match all of these. And I'm just going to take that about out because it's not really needed right now. So try to match any of these routes that you see here, these paths. What we want to say is if you see anything else, maybe you want to try and use the not found component. So the way to do that is to say, there's a trick and it's pretty easy. It's to say star for your path. So that'll match anything. And we want to use the component not found. And I suppose I'm going to have to try and insert that component. Great. And so these routes are matched in order from top to bottom. And so if you hit anything else, we will now render the not found component. So let's publish again. Publish our client to the server. And after that is done, I will restart the server. Okay, and what is going on? That didn't seem to work very well. Maybe we have a problem. Let's just try publishing. Let's save that. And let's try publishing again. Oh, did I restart? Or maybe I failed to restart Tomcat. Publish again, restart Tomcat again. No, I restarted. Let's just try again. Oh boy, what's going on?
Why does that little square say 2? Is that right?
Which square?
The one at the top with the red square that's there's 2 things running there.
Yes, I'm running running port 8081 as well.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Eric
Well,
says you need a name field in router.js for not found. No.
no, I don't actually. But that's a good point. But there's an error message saying I couldn't find a script file, which leads me to think there's something going on with my publishing. So maybe I'll just copy things by hand. So just bear with me 1 second, folks. Maybe it's a good reminder of how to do this by hand. So let's just stop everything and we'll go into the server. Let's see, client dist. And I want to check the app 299 B106F app.js. Oh, it's looking for something that's not there. That's not right. So that's very interesting. Why don't I just try and start? There's index.html, and why is it looking for that? I guess if I can format it nicely and try to have a look for why it's even asking for an app 299 in /JS. It's not doing that. So I think I could have just force reloaded maybe and it should work. That's curious. Okay, I'm just going to try and run this because it looks like it. Well, actually, I'm looking at the client, right? So let's copy all of this. Let's copy all of that and put it in the server ourselves. So actually, before that, let me... it looks like it's all right here too. It must just be the browser trying to look for something stale. So Let's just restart Tomcat and have a look and see if we can get it to work. There we go. Shift reload worked, everyone.
Nice.
Okay. So where was I? We're about to go to /foo again to see that we see a nice page now. And we do. There's something going on with my styles for the buttons. My real final website is up on the central server, and I'll post that on Piazza, and its styles look better than this, but I'm not going to worry about it. All right, so now you might think, okay, if you look through all the hardening requirements, all right, we can go to /foo. We can reload every page with back buttons work. We can handle missing carts and missing order details on every page. We're done, right? And if you look through all the links on the requirements, you'll notice one that's still a trouble. And it is, I can't believe I've still got 10 minutes. All right, so let's go. Actually, there's two more. So maybe I'm not ahead of the game. Let's go to categories classics. Okay, and just give it a second. All right. So what happens, problem number one remaining, what happens if I just go to /category? It's giving me the missing error page. It's giving me the not found page. But we're going to say that's not what we want. Is it, Dr. K?
No, I think we want to go to a default category. That's what I would
Yeah,
do.
because I think we've built in everywhere in our site, we've built in this notion of your default category. So let's use it. If we go to /category with no name, let's use it. So I went down a couple of rabbit holes trying to fix this, and I came up with 3 different solutions. And the one I'm going to show you is the one I decided upon because it is the shortest, cleanest, and most maintainable. So when you're looking at solutions, don't be afraid to throw things out. So I threw out a lot of code for this one and came up with, I think, 4 lines that solve the problem. So the observation is that if we look at our router.js, we're not smart enough here. So if you see, we've got a category and a name. By saying :name for a parameter here, that means it's mandatory. If you do a bit of reading, you might find out, just for curiosity, that if you say name ? that means, it's optional. Maybe I could have the name, maybe I don't. But if you do that and you follow that through, we're actually using the route.params.name in our code. And if you say that the name is optional, then that is empty. And so you'll try to use route.params.name to pick the right navigation button to select, load the right books, and it's not there. And so then you've got to go through all this code to say, oh, if the name isn't there, then use the default name and change a bunch of places of code. Let's not do that. It leads to a lot more change than is necessary. Let's pick a different solution where we just say, look, what we want to do is say, we want to say /category is our path, but we don't want to use a component. We just want to say, let's redirect. And let me look up the syntax here. Is it redirects? I think it's plural. Redirect singular. Let's redirect to /category, and for me it's /classics. Is my default. If I save that and fix that, then publish and save and reload, that is enough to define what happens when you go to /category. So I think that's a really nice solution, and it involves touching way less code. So that's the second last problem. The final problem is a bit subtle, but it's also got to do with the 404 page. In this case, though, we want the 404 page. So the idea is, what if I say I'm going to an invalid category? What happens is We get our category navigation buttons, but nothing is selected. That's because invalid doesn't match any of the names. And we get no books, and that is because you cannot load books for the category invalid. The server will throw an exception. So if we have a look at what's going on here, error fetching books for category invalid, the network response was not okay. That's expected, but what we want to do here is we don't really want to show this empty category page. We want to say category invalid is a not found experience. Do you think that's valid, Dr. K?
Category is a not found experience.
So if I say category invalid, I don't want to show this empty
Right,
category
right.
page with no buttons highlighted and no books.
You just
I
say go
think
home, right?
it's
Yeah.
not go home. I would just say go to the not found page because there
Right. You
is
go to the not found page, and then that'll have a button that says go home or go.
right. Exactly. Exactly.
That's fine.
Okay. Yep. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and naively fix this. So first observation is, okay, I'm going to do this from the component down to the API service. So first observation is, well, there's something wrong with our category component. If it gets an error back from fetching the books, then what we want to do is we want to go to the not found experience. So let's code that first. So let's go to our category view. And what we want to do is say, you know what, let's dispatch this action, but then if we catch an error, let me just get to my little, make sure I'm doing this right. Right, okay, if we catch an error, then let's run a function that takes the error reason, but then what we want to do is we want to say, this dot dollar router dot push, and we want to push ourselves to the to a page where we see the not found. So we could basically say /foo here. I'm just going to make it a little nicer and say /404, and that's what's going to show up to the user. But that will, by pushing something to the router that it doesn't understand, that will give us the experience that we want. You'll notice that we don't use E in this function. So to clean that up, I'm just saying function here instead, and that works as well, just to avoid Prettier getting angry. All right. Let's see how much time do we have left. I think what I'm going to do is, rather than publish and go through this is right, but it's not enough. It doesn't actually, if we pushed this code and ran it and we hit category invalid, we would still see this page that we're seeing now, because it turns out that this catch function is never called. And it's never called because we never return an error from the action, fetch selected category books. So that's in the store. So let's have a look at this code here. So this is from module 4 or 5. And what we did was we say, all right, let's catch any errors from this. We'll actually go to the API and fetch the books, get the books. But if there's anything wrong, we're just going to log something to the console here. What we want to do is we actually want to throw the reason or the error up to the code that we just added. So we call fetch selected category books. Now we'll catch the error because we throw it from the store. It turns out if you do that, that's not quite enough yet to solve this problem, because we are actually just calling the asynchronous function fetch selected category books. And then what happens here is we run this, and then we return nothing. There's nothing that's returned out of this function. But in order for the then function or the catch function to work here, this dispatch of this action needs to return a promise. So all we need to do to fix that, whoops, I'm going backwards. Sorry about that, folks. In the store method, we also need to return the promise. So what that means is we will now run the catch code at the top level for two reasons. One, we throw the error up from the store, and two, we're actually waiting to see the error because we're returning the promise. And if I publish that, that still wouldn't be enough to solve this problem. And you'd be getting very frustrated if I showed you all this step by step. It took a while for me to work this out. But what's going on is the same. We're not actually, well, we're not actually throwing the error from the API service. So if you have a look, we don't see error colon here in this output. So we're never actually getting to this catch clause. And the reason is, if we have a look here at this method here, we're never actually throwing it from here. We're actually catching it and just logging error fetching books for category, which is what we do see. So now what we want to do is we're effectively saying here, look, let's stop hiding these errors and let's throw the error all the way up from the network call in the API service through the store method to the component where we catch the error and we go to the not found page. And that's what we want. So let's quickly publish. Let's stop everything first now. And let's publish our website. And let's run Tomcat. Just going to copy that. And let's go straight to category invalid. Let's hit shift refresh. Oh no, that was supposed to work. Type error, this is undefined. Oh, right, this is undefined. Okay, I made a mental note to come back and I didn't. Because we're inside a different scope here, we can't say this and mean this component. This actually means the function. So it doesn't know what to do here. So there's an old trick that we've used in other components, which was basically, we would say const VM equals this out here. And then we would say vm.router.push. Okay, so see how I opened up the error console to work out what was going on. So let's stop Tomcat, republish. I'll go away. All right, republish. And this is the last hardening. Okay. Rerun Tomcat. Copy that. Go to invalid. And we get the not sorry, you could not be found page. And I think we should be able to see what's going on. So now we say error fetching books from the API service. And then the store says network response was not okay. And then JavaScript has taken us to /404 as we requested, which is not understood by the router. So that's what we get. So I hope this has helped you get through. We've got a pretty solid website. You can hit refresh, you can hit back. You can try to break some URLs on the category page here, or otherwise we've got a solid experience if you try to access a URL we don't understand. So I like this module because these are the sort of things that it's kind of like a proxy for testing. You know, if you didn't do this sort of thing, your QA department would knock it back and say, no, we can't possibly publish this website. So this is sort of a real detailed engineering that has to occur to publish a website. So and so that's why we're running the module. So I hope you found it informative. And like we said, the the code review and the code review has a Piazza post associated with it. So I've referenced that in the project. So I've gone through what I'll be looking for, and if I add to that, I'll make another Piazza post and link them together. I think there might be some things I'm looking for on the server that you've done for validation and transactions that I'll just um, add to that post. But I think we should probably call it a night, Dr. K.
I think so. Yeah, it's been a long one, and so you basically had to two different lectures. So that was good. We covered a lot of material.
So I think thanks for staying, everyone, and we'll see you all on Piazza.
Yeah, thanks, folks. Have a great night and have a great holiday. Stay safe out there.
Definitely. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.